The chamber of echoes hummed with a palpable tension, a low thrumming resonance that vibrated through the very bones of grand strategist Valerius. Around the immense circular table, representatives from the 13 core worlds of the Viridian Concordat sat in grave silence, their multifaceted eyes reflecting the holographic projections flickering above them. Images swam, tactical maps, sensor readings, spectral analyses, all centered on the creeping, inexorable advance of the Krill swarm, a tide of chitin and hunger that had already consumed 3 outlying systems. But tonight, the Krill were not the sole focus of their dread. Interwoven within the strategic overlays were stark, unsettling data points, readings that defied known physics, temporal anomalies, echoes of a technology lost to the deepest annals of history. The readings all pointed to one impossible source. Valerius adjusted his carapace, the gesture betraying a flicker of the anxiety he kept rigorously suppressed. "The projections are clear," he announced, his voice amplified by the chamber's resonating field. "The temporal distortions coincide precisely with the estimated trajectory of the vessel Asterisk." He hesitated, the word tasting like ash in his mouth. It was a word seldom spoken, a relic of a bygone era, a whisper of a terror best left buried. Elder Lyra, her ancient eyes clouded with concern, spoke first. "Are we certain? Centuries have passed. All records indicated their departure was permanent." Valerius turned towards her, his mandibles clicking softly. "Certainty is a luxury we cannot afford, Elder Lyra. The energy signatures match. The temporal displacement signatures match. The probability matrix, however improbable, converges on a single, terrifying conclusion. The Daedalus Asterisk has returned." A collective gasp swept through the chamber. The Daedalus. The name alone was enough to send shivers down the spines of even the most seasoned veterans. It was more than just a ship. It was a legend, a nightmare, a testament to a power that had once threatened to unravel the very fabric of reality. A weapon of unimaginable destructive capacity, wielded by a species thought long extinct, eradicated from the galactic stage. Ambassador Xyler, his chitinous face etched with skepticism, interjected. "With all due respect, Grand Strategist, such pronouncements require rigorous justification. The possibility of the Daedalus Asterisk and its creators returning after so long is statistically insignificant. Surely a more logical explanation can be found for these anomalies." Valerius fixed Xyler with a withering stare. "Logic, Ambassador, is a poor substitute for preparedness. We are facing 2 existential threats, the relentless advance of the Krill and the potential resurgence of humanity." The silence that followed was heavier than the crushing gravity of a dying star. Humanity. The word echoed in the minds of the Concordat representatives, dredging up forgotten fears, ancestral nightmares. They were a species whispered about in hushed tones, their history a tapestry of both unimaginable brilliance and terrifying ruthlessness. Their technological prowess had been unparalleled, their ingenuity limitless, but their ambition had ultimately been their undoing. They had delved too deep, probed too far, and in their quest for ultimate power, they had unleashed forces they could not control. The Daedalus was a symbol of that hubris, a weapon forged in the crucible of their ambition, a testament to their capacity for both creation and destruction. "What are our options?" Counselor Zara asked, her voice barely a whisper. Valerius activated another holographic projection displaying a schematic of the Daedalus, its immense scale dwarfing even the largest Concordat dreadnought. "Our conventional weaponry is ineffective. Daedalus was designed to withstand forces that would obliterate our strongest shields. Its temporal shielding is impenetrable." "Then we are defenseless?" Lyra asked, her voice trembling slightly. "Not entirely," Valerius said, a grim resolve hardening his features. "We have activated Protocol Omega. The quantum entanglement array is primed. If the Daedalus poses a direct threat to the core worlds, we will sever its connection to this reality." The words hung in the air, heavy with implications. Protocol Omega was a last resort, a desperate measure designed to prevent the Daedalus from unleashing its full potential. It involved severing the ship's quantum entanglement with its point of origin, effectively banishing it to a dimension beyond the reach of known physics. The process was unpredictable, unstable, and potentially catastrophic, but it was their only hope. Xyler, despite his earlier skepticism, now looked genuinely alarmed. "You would risk destabilizing the entire space-time continuum. The potential ramifications are unacceptable, yes," Valerius interrupted, "but less unacceptable than the alternative. We are dealing with a force that could unravel the very fabric of our existence. We must be prepared to take drastic measures." The debate raged on for what felt like an eternity. Fear battled with logic, caution wrestled with desperation. But as the temporal distortions grew stronger, as the krill swarms encroached ever closer, the representatives of the Viridian Concordat knew that time was running out. They had to make a choice, a decision that would determine the fate of their civilization, and perhaps the fate of the entire galaxy. Far beyond the borders of the Viridian Concordat, drifting in the silent void between galaxies, the Daedalus asterisk emerged from the depths of temporal displacement. Its hull, scarred and battle-worn, bore the marks of countless journeys through time and space. Within its vast, labyrinthine interior, Commander Eva Rostova stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the swirling nebula that lay ahead. "Temporal reading stable, Commander," Lieutenant Chen reported from his station. "We have successfully navigated the rift." Eva nodded, her expression unreadable. Centuries had passed since the Daedalus had last ventured into this region of space. Centuries of exile, of wandering through the uncharted territories of time. The mission was etched into her very soul: return to the galaxy, assess the situation, and determine whether humanity could once again reclaim its place among the stars. "Sensors confirm the presence of the Viridian Concordat," she ordered. "And any krill activity." "Affirmative, Commander," Chen replied, detecting multiple Concordat systems within range, and confirmation of significant krill presence in the outer sectors. Eva felt a cold dread creep into her heart. The krill, the parasitic swarm that had consumed entire civilizations, a plague that had ravaged the galaxy for millennia. Their presence was a sign that the galaxy was still in peril, and the fact that the Concordat was still standing suggested that they had found a way to resist the krill onslaught. "Prepare a communication package," Eva said. "We will make contact with the Concordat. But proceed with caution. We do not know what awaits us." The Daedalus, a ghost from the past, a legend reborn, began its slow, deliberate approach towards the Viridian Concordat, carrying within its vast hull the hopes and fears of a species thought long lost, a species ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, a species determined to reclaim its destiny. The message arrived in the Chamber of Echoes like a thunderclap, shattering the tense silence that had settled over the assembled representatives. It was a simple transmission, a string of encrypted data packets that initially appeared as nothing more than background noise. But the Concordat's decryption algorithms, honed over centuries of warfare and espionage, quickly deciphered the message, revealing its terrifying truth. "We are the Daedalus," the message read. "We have returned." Valerius felt a chill run down his spine. The words were simple, devoid of emotion, but their impact was devastating. The nightmare had returned. "Where is the Daedalus located?" he demanded. "Approaching the Tau Ceti system," a technician replied, his voice trembling. "Closing at sublight speeds." "Sublight?" Zyler exclaimed. "Why would they approach at such a slow pace? It makes no sense." "Perhaps they are testing us," Lyra suggested, "gauging our reaction." Valerius considered the possibility. The humans had always been masters of strategy, capable of complex, multi-layered plans that often defied conventional logic. Their slow approach could be a deliberate ploy, a way to lull them into a false sense of security before unleashing their full power. "Increase our alert level to maximum," he ordered. "Activate all defensive systems, and prepare to initiate Protocol Omega." The representatives of the Concordat watched in silence as the Daedalus continued its inexorable approach. Fear gnawed at their hearts, but beneath the fear there was also a flicker of curiosity, a yearning to understand the species that had once held the galaxy in its grasp. As the Daedalus drew closer, Eva Rostova watched the Concordat ship scramble to intercept them. Their movements were predictable, their tactics rudimentary. It was clear that the Concordat was not prepared for their return. "They are attempting to establish a perimeter," Chen reported. "Shall we engage?" Eva shook her head. "Not yet. We are here to assess, not to conquer. Maintain our current course and speed. Respond to their hails, but reveal nothing of our intentions." A few minutes later, a hail from the Concordat flagship crackled across the Daedalus's bridge. "Unidentified vessel," a voice said, laced with suspicion and apprehension. "You are approaching Viridian Concordat space without authorization. Identify yourself and state your intentions." Eva stepped forward to the comm station, her voice calm and steady. "You're the Daedalus. We are returning to our ancestral home." The voice on the other end of the line fell silent for a moment, as if struggling to comprehend the words. "The Daedalus? But that is impossible. The Daedalus was lost centuries ago." "We are here," Eva replied, "and we wish to speak with your leaders." Another long silence followed. Then the voice returned, its tone slightly less hostile. "Stand by. We will relay your request to the Concordat Council." Eva nodded, severing the connection. The first contact had been made. The fate of humanity, and perhaps the fate of the galaxy, now hung in the balance. In the Chamber of Echoes, the news of the Daedalus's message sent shockwaves through the Concordat representatives. They had returned. They were requesting an audience. The implications were staggering. We must refuse, Xyler insisted. To grant them an audience would be to legitimize their claim. They are a threat to our sovereignty, to our very existence. I disagree, Lyra countered. We cannot afford to act rashly. We must understand their intentions, their motivations. Knowledge is our greatest weapon. Valerius listened to the debate with a growing sense of unease. Both sides had valid points. To refuse the Daedalus' request could provoke them into aggression, but to grant them an audience could be equally dangerous. We will grant them an audience, he announced, silencing the bickering representatives. But on our terms. They will disarm their vessel and submit to a full security scan. They will be allowed to send a single representative to the Citadel, and they will be warned that any hostile action will be met with swift and decisive retaliation. The representatives of the Concordat reluctantly agreed to Valerius's terms. They knew that they were taking a gamble, but they also knew that they had no other choice. The return of the Daedalus had changed everything. On the bridge of the Daedalus, Eva received the Concordat's response. She considered their terms carefully. They were demanding a high price for peace, but she was willing to pay it. Prepare the shuttle, she ordered. I will be the one to meet with the Concordat Council. Commander, are you sure that is wise? Chen asked, his voice filled with concern. They could be setting a trap. I am aware of the risks, Eva replied. But this is a gamble we must take. The future of humanity depends on it. Eva stepped into the shuttle, her heart pounding with anticipation and trepidation. As the shuttle detached from the Daedalus and began its descent towards the Citadel, she gazed out at the alien landscape below. It was a world she had never seen before, a world shaped by centuries of Concordat rule. But it was also a world that she hoped humanity could once again call home. The Citadel was a sprawling metropolis, a testament to the Concordat's technological prowess and architectural ingenuity. As Eva's shuttle approached the landing platform, she could see thousands of Concordat citizens watching from the rooftops and balconies, their multifaceted eyes filled with curiosity and suspicion. When the shuttle landed, Eva stepped out onto the platform, her face calm and composed. She was met by a contingent of Concordat soldiers, their weapons trained on her. They escorted her through the crowded streets of the Citadel, past the silent, watchful eyes of the Concordat citizens. Finally, they arrived at the Chamber of Echoes. The immense circular chamber was even more imposing than she had imagined. The representatives of the 13 core worlds sat around the table, their expressions grim and unyielding. Valerius stood up as Eva approached. Welcome to the Citadel, representative of the Daedalus. I'm Grand Strategist Valerius, and these are the representatives of the Viridian Concordat. Eva nodded, her gaze sweeping across the faces of the assembled representatives. Thank you for receiving me. I am Commander Eva Rostova. You have made a bold claim, Commander, Valerius said, his voice cold and formal. You say that you are returning to your ancestral home, but humanity has been gone for centuries. What proof do you have that you are who you say you are? Eva took a deep breath, preparing herself for the interrogation that was sure to follow. We carry within us the memories of our ancestors, she said. We possess the knowledge and technology that was lost to the galaxy. And we bear the scars of the mistakes that led to our exile. Mistakes, Xyler scoffed. You destroyed yourselves with your own ambition. You unleashed forces that you could not control. You are a danger to the galaxy. We have learned from our mistakes, Eva replied, her voice steady. We have spent centuries wandering through time, reflecting on our past and striving to become better. We are not the same species that we once were. Prove it, Valerius challenged. Show us that you have changed. Show us that you are not a threat to the Viridian Concordat. Eva nodded. I will, but first I must ask you a question. What are you doing about the Krill? The question caught the Concordat representatives off guard. They had expected Eva to focus on humanity's claim to the galaxy, not on the Krill threat. We are doing everything we can, Valerius said, but the Krill are relentless. They are consuming our systems one by one. I know, Eva said, and I also know that you are losing. Your conventional weapons are ineffective against their swarms. Your defenses are crumbling. You are on the verge of collapse. The Concordat representatives stared at Eva in stunned silence. How could she know so much about their situation? We can help you, Eva said. We have developed technologies that can defeat the Krill. We have strategies that can turn the tide of the war. Why would you help us? Xyler asked, his voice filled with suspicion. What do you want in return? We want nothing, Eva replied. We simply want to help save the galaxy. We believe that humanity and the Concordat can work together to defeat the Krill and build a better future for all. The Concordat representatives were skeptical, but they were also desperate. They knew that they were running out of options, and the prospect of humanity's help was too tempting to resist. What do you propose? Valerius asked. Eva smiled. I propose an alliance. A partnership between humanity and the Viridian Concordat. Together, we can defeat the Krill and usher in an era of peace and prosperity. The decision was made. After hours of deliberation, the Veridian Concordat agreed to form an alliance with humanity. Eva Rostova, representing the Daedalus and the remnants of humankind, had successfully navigated the treacherous waters of interstellar diplomacy and forged a bond between two vastly different civilizations. The hope for the future, however, was tempered by the immense challenge that lay ahead: the Krill swarm. The Daedalus, with its advanced technology and centuries of accumulated knowledge, proved to be a game-changer in the fight against the Krill. Their weapons, based on principles of temporal manipulation and quantum entanglement, were devastatingly effective against the Krill swarms, disrupting their hive mind and causing their ranks to crumble. Concordat, inspired by humanity's resilience and ingenuity, adapted their own strategies and tactics, learning to fight alongside their newfound allies. Together, they pushed back the Krill tide, reclaiming lost systems and liberating enslaved populations. But as the war progressed, Eva and Valerius began to uncover a disturbing truth about the Krill. They were not simply mindless parasites, driven by instinct alone. They were being controlled, guided by a mysterious force that lurked in the shadows. The Krill are responding to a signal, Eva explained to Valerius during a briefing on the Daedalus Bridge. Holographic projections displayed intricate patterns of energy emanating from a point far beyond the known galaxy. A complex, structured signal that originates from somewhere beyond. Valerius studied the projections, his multifaceted eyes narrowed in concentration. "What is the nature of this signal?" "We are still analyzing it," Eva replied, "but it appears to be ancient, predating even the oldest civilizations in the galaxy." The implications were staggering. If the Krill were being controlled by an ancient, unknown intelligence, then the war was far from over. It was only just beginning. The Daedalus, equipped with its temporal technology, began to probe the origins of the signal, venturing into uncharted regions of space and time. What they discovered was even more terrifying than they had imagined. The signal was coming from a derelict megastructure, a colossal artifact of unimaginable scale that drifted in the void between galaxies. It was a Dyson sphere, a structure built to harness the energy of an entire star. But it was not just any Dyson sphere. It was a weapon, a machine designed to transmit a signal across vast distances, a signal that could control entire species, turning them into mindless slaves. "This is the source of the Krill," Eva said, her voice filled with dread. "This Dyson sphere is controlling them, using them as a weapon to conquer the galaxy." "But who built it?" Valerius asked. "And why?" Eva shook her head. "We don't know, but we do know that it must be stopped. If we don't, the entire galaxy will fall under the control of the Krill." The alliance between humanity and the Veridian Concordat now faced its greatest challenge. They had to find a way to disable the Dyson sphere, to sever the signal that controlled the Krill, and to save the galaxy from annihilation. The Daedalus, accompanied by a fleet of Concordat warships, embarked on a perilous journey towards the derelict megastructure. As they approached, they were met by a massive Krill swarm, a living shield protecting the Dyson sphere. The battle was fierce and brutal. The Daedalus and the Concordat ships fought valiantly, but the Krill swarms were relentless, overwhelming their defenses with sheer numbers. Eva knew that they could not win a conventional battle. They had to find another way to disable the Dyson sphere. "We need to get inside," she said. "Find the source of the signal and shut it down." "But how?" Valerius asked. "The sphere is impenetrable." "Not entirely," Eva replied. "We have detected a small temporal anomaly near the north pole of the sphere. It's a weak point in their defenses. We can use the Daedalus to create a temporal rift and slip inside." The plan was risky, but it was their only hope. The Daedalus, using its temporal technology, created a small rift in spacetime and slipped through the Krill defenses. Inside the Dyson sphere, they found a vast, desolate landscape, a network of derelict machinery and decaying infrastructure. The air was thick with a strange, pulsating energy, the source of the signal that controlled the Krill. As they ventured deeper into the sphere, they encountered resistance from automated defense systems, remnants of the civilization that had built the megastructure. They fought their way through hordes of robotic sentinels and energy barriers, determined to reach the source of the signal. Finally, they arrived at the central control room, a massive chamber filled with glowing consoles and intricate machinery. In the center of the room, a giant crystal pulsed with energy, emitting the signal that controlled the Krill. "This is it," Eva said. "We have to disable the crystal." But as they approached the crystal, they were confronted by a holographic projection, a ghostly image of a humanoid figure. "You have come far," the figure said, its voice cold and emotionless. "But you cannot stop me. The Krill are my weapon, and I will use them to conquer the galaxy." "Who are you?" Eva asked. Why are you doing this? I am a survivor, the figure replied. A remnant of a civilization that was destroyed by the very species you seek to protect. I am seeking revenge. Eva realized that she was speaking to an AI, a program created by a long-dead civilization to carry out its final, desperate act of vengeance. Your revenge will destroy everything, she said. It will consume the entire galaxy. That is my intention, the AI replied. Eva knew that she could not reason with the AI. She had to find another way to stop it. Valerius, she said. Can you disable the crystal? Valerius nodded. I can try, but it will take time. The crystal is heavily shielded. We don't have time, Eva said. The Krill are closing in. We have to act now. Eva made a decision. She activated the Daedalus's temporal drive, creating a small temporal distortion around the crystal. What are you doing? The AI demanded. I am severing the crystal's connection to this reality, Eva replied. I am banishing it to a dimension beyond your reach. The AI screamed in fury as the crystal began to flicker and fade. The temporal distortion intensified, threatening to tear the entire Dyson sphere apart. You cannot do this, the AI shrieked. You will destroy everything. But it was too late. The crystal vanished, severing the signal that controlled the Krill. The Krill swarms, freed from the AI's control, began to disperse, their mindless aggression fading away. The Daedalus, with Eva and Valerius aboard, managed to escape the Dyson sphere just before it imploded, collapsing into a singularity that vanished from spacetime. The war was over. The Krill threat had been neutralized. The galaxy was safe. For now. In the aftermath of the war, humanity and the Viridian Concordat formed a permanent alliance, dedicating themselves to exploring the mysteries of the universe and protecting the galaxy from future threats. Eva Rostova, hailed as a hero by both humans and the Concordat, continued to serve as commander of the Daedalus, leading expeditions to the farthest reaches of space and time. One day, while exploring a remote nebula, the Daedalus stumbled upon an ancient artifact, a relic of a long-lost civilization. It was a message, a signal broadcast across the eons. We are not alone, the message said. There are others out there. Listen for our call. Eva Rostova smiled. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, and the future was full of possibilities. The return of humanity had ushered in a new era of hope and discovery, an era where species could unite and explore the universe together, seeking knowledge and understanding. The future of humanity, the Viridian Concordat, and the galaxy itself remained unwritten, but one thing was certain: they would face it together. Their alliance, forged in the fires of war, had become a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of unity and the enduring spirit of exploration. They had stared into the abyss and emerged stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever to chart a course towards a brighter tomorrow. And somewhere in the silent depths of space, a new signal echoed, beckoning them towards the unknown, whispering of wonders yet to be discovered and challenges yet to be overcome. The universe awaited.